Welcome back to the House Podcast, episode
28.
I'm your host, Josh Handler, one of the founders of the Handler Zimmerman team at Keller Williams in Massapequa. Everyone is saying the market is hot, prices are up, interest rates are down, and the one thing we hope isn't going up and down is your credit score. But don't worry, today's guest is going to be talking everything credit and how to pull yourself in the best situation possible when you're looking to buy a home. If you have any questions about the market, you want to see some homes, you're just inquiring about what's going on in the market itself, give me a call, 516-732-6398. We're always happy to help. Now, the credit repair queen and owner of Donnadio Solutions, Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How was that intro? It was pretty good,
really
right?
Good.
All right, good. We only had to take it like 1.5 times, so not bad.
Are you going to do it again?
No, that's good. So let's dive right into it. So obviously, I just found out you do real estate also.
Yes.
I thought you were just doing credit repair, so that's great. We have a couple different topics now to talk about.
I also own another business.
What is that?
I own an exotic car rental business.
All right, this girl does it all. I don't know if a half hour is going to be able to cram it in, so let's get started. So how long have you been doing real estate for?
So I've been doing real estate for 2 years.
Okay, so in 2 years, you've been full-time for 2 years?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Now you're full-time?
Now I'm full-time, yeah.
Okay. What did you do? Give us a quick elevator pitch, background, what you did before you started 17 businesses.
So before my 17 businesses, I just worked a dead-end job, and I was doing nothing at all.
So feel like, what was the dead-end job? Was it coming from the restaurant business at all?
Well,
Hospitality?
Actually, so my family actually owns several Italian restaurants on Long Island. So I did work there, but majority of my time was with a company, and I was just doing,
So making all the bosses extra money and you...
And then me nothing.
Yeah. I feel like that's so many people. I feel a lot of people in the real estate market in general have worked restaurant business. Myself, I was partners in 2 restaurants.
Oh, really?
Even being partners in them, you still have like a ceiling. You know, like kind of what you're going to make, even if you're getting profits. Like you kind of know you're going to be in this ballpark. And
exactly.
Real estate was the one thing where you bust your ass and there's kind of no ceiling. Mm-hmm. You can make as much as you can possibly make.
Yeah.
Which is
the more you work, the more you make.
Yeah, and that's what I really liked about it. It's kind of what drew me into it. So right now, I also have a little bit of a mortgage background. I work at a mortgage company also, and obviously the biggest thing when everyone wants to know what's the interest rates, main thing is what's your credit score, right? So
exactly.
With the credit scores, obviously, I'm sure you deal with plenty of people that have great credit and people that have a lot of the times they're coming to you, I'm sure they're bad credit.
I fixate my repair on people that have bad credit. People that have great credit, you don't need me. I'll give you little tips here and there, but you don't need me.
So for people that are coming to you with bad credit, mm-hmm. what are like the first things that really need to happen for them to start building the credit? If they come in, hey, I got a 540 credit score and I need a 580 to get a loan, how are you getting them into the bracket where they can purchase? And then for the people, is it different for the people that are, say, 640 and they want to get to that 740 to get a different tier pricing? Is it the same type of repair?
Well, it honestly just depends. It depends on what's on their credit. Because you can be at a 540, but it's just because you have no credit at all. You have no history, you have no payment history, you have no credit history. So for someone like that, credit builders, I'll suggest credit builders out to them. I'll teach them how to pay their credit cards when they do finally get a credit card. But for somebody that just needs like that extra credit boost, taking on new credit helps a lot. Yes, in the beginning, that first 30 days, you're going to see a decrease just because you have a new inquiry, you have a new credit line. But after that, you'll just see your credit start going up, up, up because, now you're creating more.
I get what you're saying. So so I guess this is a true question. So people sometimes think, okay, I have 3 credit cards. Those are the credit cards I use, right? Mm-hmm. They don't want to go open more credit cards because they're like, why? I don't use them. Like I get all my points on these cards. I don't open up any more cards. Is it still beneficial to open up more cards even if you don't use them? Does that help like credit at all?
In some cases, you just have to really assess the person. I never suggest opening up too much credit cards. Every company, they go by a 5-24 rule, right? They want to see 5 inquiries in the last 24 months. So if you're just applying to different credit cards, your inquiry list is going to go above what they really...
So you don't want to hit that.
Yeah, and once you hit that, you start looking desperate to the credit
you're just companies. Trying to get like every dollar you could possibly get.
Exactly.
There's something wrong.
Exactly.
Interesting. So with the credit, what is the number one thing that people can do if they're looking to buy a home and they're nervous about their credit score? And a lot of times you hear when they're applying for loans, they don't want to get pre-approved because they're worried that it's going to be a hard, pull on their credit, and they're worried about all these things. How bad does a hard pull really affect somebody, and is it something that they should really be even worried about if they're looking to go buy a home?
It's something that they should be worried about, but there's a smart way of doing it. That first credit hit that you get when you are looking for a mortgage or even like a car or anything like that, you're allowed to get a certain amount of hits to your credit within a 45-day period. Okay. Because by law, you're allowed to shop around for your best rate.
Right. If you have good credit and you can't use it, what's the point?
Exactly. So you are allowed to shop around. Now, there comes times like when you go to a dealership and they'll say, oh, yeah, no, we're going to run your credit. You'll be perfectly fine. And then they'll run your credit 16 times. Now you're going into, deep water that you're not going to really be able to recover from for the next 2 years.
Yeah, 100%.
Unless you go in and you delete them yourself.
Yeah.
Which I'm able to do.
So I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I do credit repair. I could bring in your credit. I could get these judgments taken off. You're not going to have to pay anything, this and that. Like, we work magic. Like, how much of that is really true? Like, how many of these companies are just walking away and, like, not getting paid? I feel like they're going to want something, no?
No, yeah. So there's a lot of, like, frauds out there,
Yeah, I mean, with everything else.
Yeah, they will promise you the world, and then by the next year you have all these,
like they come
everything
back.
that they did take off comes right back on. Or what they're doing is actually creating fake police reports and reporting that someone stole your identity, and that's where all this is coming from, which can land you in jail, can land them in jail, so it's just really not worth it.
So there's a lot of shady stuff going on.
Yeah. You have to be super careful when you're giving your money out and giving your personal information out, because I take Social Security, I take
you're giving everything.
IDs, so.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when people are looking to increase their credit from whatever, what do you see is kind of the top 2-3 things that really will help them, even if they don't have bad credit, maybe they just have no credit. Mm-hmm. What's the top 3 things that they should really be doing to start building some type of credit?
Definitely get a credit builder. Like a self-lender, which is you take out a personal loan on yourself, but it actually reports back to the credit bureaus that you have a credit card.
Okay.
So now you're establishing good payment and credit
So is that like a prepaid credit card almost?
It is in a sense, but it's more just they don't really give you the card,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you'll get some type of history, starting, and that's usually about 2 years, but all the money that you put into it, you actually get back at the end of your 2 years.
Oh, weird.
It is. So,
like
but it reports as a credit card. So that's a great credit builder. Just making sure that you're paying all your credit cards on time, making sure that, you're not falling behind or, getting too many hits on your credit. That's just the way to maintain good credit.
Right. When people miss a payment, and I know that you get like that grace period, obviously if you hit that grace period, you're fine, right? But after that grace period, how do they instantly hit, like, is it instantly hitting your credit with a negative impact, like once you miss?
It depends on the company.
Okay.
So you can have a car and you can be late on one payment, and if you did not read that contract, they can start the repossession process. So, everybody makes mistakes. Oh, maybe I thought I paid it, I really didn't pay it.
Right.
And then you go and you get your car repossessed.
Yeah, you see it on TV, but you never physically like see it. So you're like, I wonder, like one day, like people physically like wake up and their car's like gone.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely wild. So speaking of cars, we'll go into side topic for a moment. Talk about this exotic rental car business that you just threw on us last minute.
So I actually threw it on myself last minute too.
Oh.
I
just randomly buy exotic cars to rent.
Yeah, so I have a few friends and they were doing like this rental business, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I've always loved cars. Like I'm really
You're
big
a car
into,
girl.
Oh yeah, I love cars.
Okay.
I love fast cars. I love driving fast. So I was like, how fun would it be to like get a car and rent it out? Like, so I went and bought a Porsche. And
so you just wanted it for yourself, really, and you just said, "Oh,
no.
You tried to make it. Oh, I could use it as a business expense."
That's my business. I did drive it here today because I was like, you might as well. But yeah, no, it's strictly for business, and I just wanted to jump into it, and I love it so far.
So, how do you promote a business like that? Getting people to rent an exotic car like that. Is that secret?
Yeah.
Top secret information?
Yeah. My insurance company can.
Oh, we'll bleep this out. But do exotic renting cars in general, right? Is there apps that you're using for like how are people
Not in New York.
finding you in general? It's just like people
I'm
that
just
word of mouth.
organically promoting myself.
Because I know like this
I
one
will.
guy.
I'm come October. I'm moving my business, my car rental business down to Florida, just because it's easier to do over there. Because New York insurance laws are way too strict, so you
Also,
can't
like
really
if
do
you're
anything.
say
much
like
there.
if the company's based in Florida, you're able to kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my car down there.
Oh, you're gonna do it there instead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, because we were looking one time. We were looking actually to buy a truck to brand for real estate as like a moving truck. Like use our moving truck for free.
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, maybe we could rent it out as like technically like a U-Haul when we're not using it. It's like free publicity of like our faces driving around, and it's like impossible to get like a policy for that. Like where multiple people could like lease it out. These U-Haul companies just get them because like they're so huge.
Yeah.
And
so when you have a big fleet, it's easier. But I'm just starting off with my one little car.
Yeah. We were in the same boat. We're like, all right, we can't like they want like crazy money, and most companies we called probably 15 companies, not a single one actually did it.
Yeah. No.
They're like, no, we don't do that.
Especially in New York, it's just not gonna happen.
So, how is it going with the rental car business?
It's amazing. It's fun. I'm meeting so many people. They're enjoying my product, my car, and
so when they're renting it,
I'm
do you have a car?
Expert. Huh?
Do you have another car? That when
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure you have no car.
No. That's strictly for my business. It's my business car. It's not even mine. It's Donnadio Rentals.
Nice. It's interesting. You don't hear. There's this one guy, Ryan Pineda, who's in Vegas, who started, I think, renting out his cars. Like, there's like an app called
Toro.
Yes. Toro. That's why I was asking him. Are you able to like? He says like he puts like he bought a Tesla, like he put it up and like people like literally just it's like an Airbnb like for a car.
For a car.
But they don't have that here.
No. I can do it in Jersey, but I just rather bring it up.
Oh, you'd rather just go to Florida? Do you want to live in Florida?
No. But I have a lot of family down there. But I'm gonna start expanding my real estate and my credit repair business down there.
I'm in the process of getting my license in Florida right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What part?
So we want to buy like a second home and eventually move down there. And if we could work 6 months out of the year, obviously we get our state tax benefit, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows about it, right? So we were looking one part of Tampa in that area. And then we were looking East Coast in like the Fort Lauderdale, Miami whole area. Because we're like, okay, if we're not there for 5 months, all right, maybe what spot would be better for like rental aspect, Airbnb style, who's going where. So at least if it could pay for itself. If we break even, we don't even want to make money. If we could just break even and then be there for the months that we're there, it's a home run.
Exactly. That's exactly my plan.
But we're looking to do real estate down there. What part are you looking into?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, yeah. Honestly, I hear like great things about it. Everyone says, you're half hour away from Miami. You're for people that want to go there. You got the beaches. You got all the towns and the clubs and this. I'm like, all right, well, what else do you need for a vacation?
Exactly.
All right, back to real estate.
Back to real estate. Back to credit repair.
Back to credit repair. So for the people that are 740 or 640, and they're trying to get to the next tier credit, because obviously things go in buckets. So what's the best way for someone that goes in, gets their credit report, they're under contract, and they pull and they got a 670, right? But the guy says, listen, if you can get your credit score above a 700, maybe you'll save a quarter of a point in interest. So in the 2-month span, is there anything for a buyer to do in those 2 months to try to get those 30, 40 points?
Yeah. So if you have somebody that has like really awesome credit and you can become an authorized user on their card, that actually boosts credit tremendously. And you can see that boost within the first 30 days. But when you do something like that, it's, make sure that they have good credit and make sure that they're actually making their payments on time and not using more than 30% of their credit limit.
Right, so that's a big thing. The utilization of the credit card, you don't want to really go above 30%. Is that 30%. When it starts like hitting you for like negatively impacts your credit?
Yeah, if a credit like a Capital One per se, right? If they see that you're using under 30% utilization and they see that for a consistent 3 to 6 months, they're gonna boost your credit limit, and it just then your score gets boosted. But if you're using over that utilization, they just start penalizing you, and it's just, they want you to spend the money.
Of course. Does the higher limit, does that help credit? Or just because if you have some money on the card, you're technically using less because the credit limit's higher?
Exactly.
Gotcha. So you kind of want the higher limit because if you're not spending majority of that limit.
Yeah. Even when your credit limit goes up, don't even know that your credit limit goes up. Just keep acting like it's that small,
Because we get letters in the mail, and we don't even ask for, like, an increase.
No.
We just get a letter, we just gave you, like, $20,000 more. Yeah. We're like, all right. Like, they just keep throwing money at you.
Yeah, that's how you know that you're using your credit correctly. Because now your money is making more money for you.
Gotcha.
Now it's
just increasing because of that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they just want you to spend more. That's their way of getting to you. But
well, they do.
They're like, hey, remember me? You have like $50,000. You want to use it?
Exactly. They do. They definitely want you. You're not the preferred customer if you're paying on time and using under 30% utilization.
Interesting. So now, speaking of utilization, when people are applying for credit cards, they're applying for a car loan, they're applying for a mortgage. So there's different, I heard, if this is correct, tell me if I'm wrong, like there's different tiers of credit. Mm-hmm. So if you go to get a car, they pull your credit and they may say you have a 700. Mm-hmm. And then you go to a mortgage and they say, no, you have a 650 on their end.
Yeah, so mortgages use a FICO score. And like a auto or credit card, just use a basic credit score. Yeah.
So they're both considered hard pulls, regardless, right?
Yes.
So a hard pull, how negatively does that impact somebody?
About 5 points.
5 points.
For every hard inquiry is about 5 points. Yeah.
And to gain that 5 points back, it takes roughly how long?
2 years to come off of your credit.
That's a long time. Mm-hmm. Better be a damn good credit card that you want.
Yeah.
So it takes 2 years, and that's for anything across the board to come off your credit. 2 years.
Well, just inquiries.
Yeah. Interesting. Mm-hmm. And so that'll segue into student loans. So obviously that's on a lot of people's credit. A lot of people have ridiculous amounts of student loans. Obviously on the mortgage end, they only have to take a small fraction of that. But how does that affect people's credit when they're going to apply for credit cards or just anything in general?
It doesn't really affect their credit when it comes to, if their student loans are all current, it doesn't affect them. It becomes a problem when there's,
Whoops.
It becomes a problem when there's missed payments.
Okay.
And the credit, it's late, the student loans are showing as late, then that becomes a problem. Or if they do go into collections.
So once something goes into collections, how are you what's the process of getting something out of collections to the point where you could start turning it into a positive and stop all the negative stuff that's hitting?
Well, you mean student loan wise?
I guess, is it different for a student loan that's being like delinquent compared to someone that's not making their Victoria's Secret bill?
No. It all hits your credit the same. But I forgot your question.
So when it goes
Can we cut that part out? Does this get edited?
Yeah, of course. But we're gonna leave that in anyway. So for the people that are delinquent and they're getting hit and it goes into collections.
Yeah.
How does it get out of collections? Like, what's the process of getting something out of collections?
So when you have something in collections and then you go and pay it off, there's when you go pay it off, definitely always negotiate that balance.
Now, is that something that you guys do as credit repair, or that's really up? That's not really.
Yeah, that's not really. I can get the delinquencies off of your credit, and then you go in the background and make arrangements.
Right, you're trying to say, listen, I know $1,500. I'll give you $1,000 if you want to take it now. I'll pay off the whole card.
Less than $1,000. Right. Yeah, you should always offer 10 to 20% of whatever your balance is.
Really?
Yeah, you should never pay more than that.
They'll be happy with 20%.
They'll be happy. You have to remember, so Capital One is the one that you owed the money to. Capital One then goes and sells your debt to somebody else for $20. So if they're making $1,000, even though they bought that debt for only $20, because the government pays Capital One back anyway as a loss.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
See, it's always in cahoots. Everybody's always in cahoots with everybody. It's unbelievable. The government now you don't pay your bills. All right, we'll use these tax dollars. We'll pay it off. Don't worry about it. We'll ruin their credit.
Yeah, they report it as a loss, and then they get reimbursed for it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Now, do you deal with also people that file for bankruptcy?
Yes.
So how does that, like, at what point is it so bad that bankruptcy is the only option?
I'm not too familiar. I know how to get bankruptcies off of credit. I'm not too familiar with bankruptcies because that's a bankruptcy is not even supposed to be on your credit because that's a public record. Has nothing to do with credit.
They go down there, they file for bankruptcy. Now, if they go to apply for a credit card, you'll see, or they come to you, you'll see that they filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, but that's because the credit bureaus were actually given that information. Essentially, they paid for that information, but it really shouldn't be on your credit report.
So what happens if it's on your credit report and they decide, I don't want to, maybe we could turn this around without having to physically go through a bankruptcy? Are you able to help take the bankruptcy off their credit?
Once you file for bankruptcy, that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm not too familiar with bankruptcy, but from what I do know, like once you go to the courts and you file for bankruptcy,
you're in.
Yeah, you're in. I mean, I can get it off of someone's credit. That way it doesn't show, and that way when they do go apply for different credit cards or a house or whatever, it'll help them. But
So, since you do real estate, right? Do you ever have clients that go to get pre-approved, have bad credit, but you're their realtor? Are you able to help them with their credit repair and buy the house? Like, is there any type of conflict of interest that you ever have to run into, or you're able to do both? Know of. I was actually, you have to watch everything these days. Everyone's like, oh, you can't do this if you could do this.
Yeah. I figure if someone can sell a house and also sell them a mortgage, I can fix their credit.
That's the thing, we can't.
I thought you can.
So technically, if you want to be the loan officer and the realtor on the same deal, you have to disclose a packet like this thick. It almost makes it impossible. It doesn't even make sense to do it. It's wild.
Oh.
Yeah. But like everything else, there's a loophole, I'm sure, somewhere. You just drop your bucket in that instead.
Well, I haven't helped any of my clients yet.
Yeah, we'll bleep that out. Don't worry. that part we'll pass on also. So, real estate wise, are you more? Where in Long Island is your focus of real estate? Do you have a niche that you kind of fall into?
I really like doing the South Shore. I like the South Shore a lot, and that's where I live also. But
Nassau County?
Anywhere. I'm sorry.
Nassau County, Suffolk County.
No, Suffolk County.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the South Shore in Suffolk County, but I'll do anywhere. I go where the money
goes.
You
go where it goes.
I go where the money goes.
Well, that's a mentality you need. But a lot of people oh, I don't leave these borders.
Yeah.
That's where they fall into. I was we go to Queens, we'll go to Montauk. It's kind of wherever.
You want to take me up to Westchester? I'll go to Westchester. I really don't care.
Yeah, we went to Somers a couple of weeks ago. We're hour and a half away. We're this is wild. I was but you go where you got to go. So what do you think is going on with the market? Where do you see the market going? I always like to get different realtors' input of what they are thinking, because obviously who the hell knows what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Interest rates, are they staying up? They're going to go down? What's going on? Are the market prices going to go crazy?
There's a lot more inventory, right?
100%.
So people are getting accepted offers a lot easier. I don't think that we're going to have to go 90,000 above asking price.
Yeah, it was freaking nuts.
It was crazy.
Yeah. I think I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of my buyers recently, there's been less competition, but I don't know if it's just because the people that really wanted something got something already, or the people that couldn't get something decided I'll take a break.
Yeah.
Or the people are trying to get their last minute vacations in before the new year starts, and they're just not looking for a house.
Yeah, I think even with the school season starting, I think it's really going to slow down. I don't think tremendously. I think people are still going to be paying over asking price, but it's not going to be as ridiculous as it was.
I feel like all our buyers been pretty much paying 5% over asking. Every listing that we've been putting up is getting 7, 8, 10% over asking. It's just
yeah, it's
it
crazy.
Doesn't feel like it's going to stop. But the only thing that's good is instead of line down the block and it's like a merry-go-round. You want them in and out because you're only allowed to have one person at a time. Now it's okay, you get 5, 10 people at a time. It's not a gigantic herd of people that want to stampede the house. So for us, I much prefer that.
You think houses are going to continue to be able to appraise? Okay, so now the market's up and houses are appraising for a lot higher.
Yeah.
But now if we don't have to go that much over asking price, you think houses are going to be able to appraise?
I wonder how much. I wonder what. It has to hit a ceiling eventually, you would think. But now all the houses that were overpriced, that got over asking because they waived appraisals and stuff, those now become the new comps.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now when people are looking at houses now, the comps that the banks are looking at are these overpriced houses that already closed. So that sets the new trend. Mm-hmm. So I feel as long as deals keep closing, there's going to be those new comps that are going to support the higher prices. It's just, when do people stop paying these higher prices?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's really going to have to come down to the mortgage rates, if they're going to creep up a little bit, to restrict the buyers, cash flow basically.
Yeah.
To really tune it down, but Who the hell knows?
Well, that's good for your buyers if they don't, if they don't have to go that well over asking price, but they're getting those comps that are like
that's the
super high, because then it works out better for them.
only person I know that's getting, like, we had one buyer that we just negotiated like $20,000 under asking, but the house was on the market for like 2.5 weeks. So it's like anything that's on the market for a couple weeks, okay, maybe there's some wiggle room there.
Yeah.
But
it's like, these are damaged goods.
Yeah, everything else is like 1 week old.
Yeah.
So every 1 week, and they're like, we have an accepted offer in like 3 days. So it's like, right away.
Yeah.
But all right, for people that have credit repair, or they need credit repair, I should say, they're looking, to buy a home. They have some questions that they want to ask you. What's the best way to get a hold of you? They want to lease a nice Porsche. They want to take it for a rental.
If you want to rent the Porsche, you can give me a call. My direct phone number is 631-431-0196. You can get me at Instagram at Emily_Donnadio. That's pretty much my handles.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
You got anything to say to the people? Peace signs.
Don't-
All right,
don't
so
put that
you won't saying that's for the video aspect, but hey, we'll let it slide. So I appreciate you coming on. If anybody has any real estate related questions, you have credit repair questions, you want to get in touch with Emily, reach out to us, 516-732-6398. Anything we can do to possibly help you build your credit, repair your credit, get you into a house, help you sell a house. We do it all. Just give us a call. We'll figure it out after that.
Yeah. And if you watch the podcast and want credit repair, you can let me know that you watched the podcast, and I'll give you a free sign up.
You have it. Free sign up. Mention Josh Handler, the House Podcast. Free sign up. Do it.
That's good, right?
Free is good.
Free is for me.
If anybody says they don't like free, they're lying. So, everybody, stay tuned to the next episode. This one's about to drop some fire gems.